Hey guys, welcome back to my sewing room. I'm Kelly and you found me here on Pick and Stitches, and I have been making a big push to get a lot of the projects I've started on this year out the door and finished. So today I bought a ton of fabric. So I thought I'd do a quick unboxing, show you what projects I'm going to be wrapping up. So let's jump right on in. Okay, guys, I have a confession to make. I have been sewing a lot this year, but I have several unfinished objects, I like to call them, that I'm still working on wrapping up. But I had 3 quilt tops that I needed borders, backings, bindings, and I didn't want to wait for them to ship because I'm like, get it done mode. I'm going to finish these up. I do not want to enter any more into 2025 with more unfinished objects than I had last year. So I made a trip to Joann's and I got quite the haul. Typically, I do love to sew with a lot of the quilt store quality fabrics, but you can find some great fabrics at Joann's too. And sometimes their coupons work out. And so I just made the decision that no matter what, I was not going to leave the shop without buying something that I could bind, quilt, backing, and borders for these last 3 remaining quilts. So let me show you what I got. All right, I had my own bag. I like to use this bag to transport my quilt tops because if I'm going to the quilt store, I want to make sure that I have my quilt tops with me so that I can match it exactly. You know, sometimes we end up with that real matchy, everything comes in the same collection, and that's beautiful. But when you go a little scrappy, the tones have to be right, and sometimes that can be hard to find. I just peeked in the top of this, so I had the boys with me today. And they wouldn't leave Joann's without having some of their own little stuffies. So this was a bribe stuffy. And then, I guess I taught my children to shop for a deal. We ended up leaving with Christmas ornaments because they're whatever, 60 or 80% off. So the kids were excited to get something to come home with. And I was excited to get some of my quilt stuff finished. And I'm telling you guys, when I left that cutting counter, it was a lot. It was a lot, a lot, a lot. Okay. So I do like to take my little book with me. I think I've shown you guys this before. Oops, having an avalanche here. I put all of my sew samplers in this monthly book. I have, started the year with January and then they're all right here together. So these were sew samplers that I need to finish up. So I took this with me. That way I knew exactly what I wanted for borders and bindings. And if I had made any adjustments, I wrote the notes on my pattern. So I knew exactly what I needed. So we'll just start with this one. So this is the most recent sew sampler that we just did. This is the one by Camille Ross Kelly. I feel like it's called Snow. What's it called? It's called Snow something. We'll just look it up because I've got it right here. Snowdrift. So for this quilt, I needed a border, a backing, and a binding. And what I decided to do, see if does that show up? Yeah, that shows up. Guys, I have too many stacks. So I really loved the fabric. They use something similar to this as the border on the Fat Quarter shops, but I didn't want to wait for anything to ship. So I went ahead and bought this as my border, which I think is going to be super cute. It's in the right color wheel. It's still going to pull really dark and give it a lot of tone. And then what else did I get? You guys, I'm so disorganized right now. I don't know why I'm losing my mind. So I'm going to do this as my backing. And sorry, we got everything all cut out of order. So this is going to be my binding. I'll just have a little thin strip of it. And then I got my backing also. So this is a print I have used before in a couple of the different colors. I think I just really like the way when I quilt on this, it has some change in the shading. So you're not looking 100% at a solid background, but you don't see the quilting 100%. So let me get you guys a better view of how all this pulls together. So I've got this quilt with that border. And of course, I still have to put my white border on there. And then this will be our backing. So that's my thought there. There we go. Okay. So then our border, our binding. Of course, those are disproportionate. And then this will be our backing. And I think that's going to be a really cute finish for this quilt. And since I did buy these fabrics at Joann's, especially these darker ones, I'm going to pre-wash. So I did buy some extra fabric so that I wouldn't be in a bind, when I'm binding my quilt. Okay. Okay, so that's one down. The next quilt that I'm going to be finishing up is this Laguna Beach. I've had it hanging on my wall over there, just waiting for a binding and a border. So that was the one by Cherry and Chelsea 3 months ago. This one's been waiting. So I could not find a floral that I thought was going to look good as the border for this one. So I actually kind of went outside of that norm. Get this green out of the shot because it's clashy. I decided to do this as my border. So let me show you guys this overhead. Hopefully that'll give you a little bit better view. So I decided I'm going to do this as my border. And then this is going to be the binding. Get that just to peek out for us just a little bit. And I decided to do this as my backing. So this will be our backing. And I think that that's going to pull all together really nicely. You guys, I bought so much fabric. I mean, seriously. So this is that backing again. So I bought it now in orange for the Denim and Daisies quilt. I have it in blue for the clammy quilt, which I still need to finish. And then I have these two that I purchased today. So I do like this as a backing. Again, I just think that these little polka dots are going to be fun. And then with that as my binding, I think that combination is going to work. So set that aside. That's quilt number 2. I've got a really busy weekend planned. Can you tell? Okay. And last but not least is this little guy, which I totally fell in love with, you guys. I mean, it is such a fun quilt. It's just different and darling. And my lovely daughter who loves Halloween loves this quilt. So go figure. Whoops. That's not a very nice way to show it to you, is it? So I just fold all my quilt tops up. I know the pressing police probably don't like that, but I like to have it with me in my hands when I show up to try and match it because otherwise it's a hot mess. Okay, so here's our quilt. I decided on this one that I would use this as my border. I found this. It's so super cute. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's got like little birds on it. So we'll use this as our wide borders. So it'll look nice with our lighter colors. And then also up here with my darkers, it still ties really nicely. And then this is a polka dot. Honestly, I have bought this color, this exact fabric, and used it a ton this year. They actually were out of stock for a while and it just came back in stock. I used it on this haberdashery. Goodness, Kelly, it is hats, but haberdashery from Lori Holt from earlier this year. I used it as the border because I made a border on it to make it a little bit larger, and I used it as the backing. So I really like this fabric a lot. So I actually didn't need all of this, but I went ahead and bought everything that they had left on the bolts because I know that I will reach for this for bindings, borders, backings, whatever. And then I also bought, I just thought that this was so darling. I bought an additional bolt of it. So I'm that crazy lady that is buying extra fabric at the quilt store. So I bought the additional bolt of the bird pattern because I thought it was really fun. And then I saw this. This is from their quilter showcase. So if you shop there very often, you know that sometimes the quality on that fabric is great and sometimes it's not so great. So this actually felt really nice to me, and it is kind of a neutral. I end up sewing with this kind of dusty green sometimes, and I like that woodsy print. So I bought the rest of that bowl too. So I think I will do the math. Let's see how many yards did I buy? I won't tell you how much I spent because that's embarrassing. Let's see. 2, 8 is 10, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 36, 37. You guys, I bought 37 yards of fabric today. I can't believe I just said that out loud. 37 yards of fabric. You know, they always have stuff on sale. Sometimes it's a good sale. Sometimes it's not a great sale. I will say if you order online and then pick up in the store, there's generally a better coupon for that. So I walked out of there at $175. So I have 3 quilt backs, 3 bindings, 3 borders, plus an extra bolt of this. I think, gosh, I want to say this is like 6 or 7 yards. It's definitely 6. I wanted to get it wide enough, more enough to do a wide back if I needed to, and I probably got an extra 4 yards of this. So for $175, I'm pretty pleased with my haul today. I know generally I'm reviewing quilt shops, and I hope you've enjoyed this trip down Joanne's Lane. And if you do like any of my unboxing videos or maybe some of my tutorials, I'd love it if you hit that like and subscribe button and join us over on our Facebook group. Let me know what deals and steals you're getting. Until then, guys, I will see you next time.